Have you ever felt that your own body begins to betray you silently, without clear warnings? That uncomfortable feeling of getting up several times during the night, of not being able to fully control the flow of urine, or of being left with the frustrating impression that your bladder never empties completely. You are not alone. Thousands of men around the world experience this every day, and the most striking part is that the root of the problem is not always where one imagines. Often, the symptoms you notice are just the tip of the iceberg. What I am going to tell you could be one of the most important pieces of information you hear in a long time. There is a simple and everyday mistake that most men make every time they urinate, and that, over the years, can silently and progressively damage the prostate. It is not something they teach in medical school, nor something that is frequently mentioned in popular health magazines. It is an almost automatic habit, but by correcting it, the impact on your prostate health and overall well-being can be enormous. And the best part is that it does not require expensive pills or invasive treatments. It is simply about understanding how your body really works, about reconnecting with a natural process that you have neglected without realizing it. In my clinic, I have seen how this simple change has allowed men to recover not only a stronger and more consistent urine flow, but also to reduce the urgency to go to the bathroom during the day and night. The most important thing is protecting long-term prostate health. I have more than 30 years of experience working with men who, by the time they reach 55 or 65 years old, face the symptoms of an enlarged prostate, or what we call benign prostatic hyperplasia. But here is a crucial detail that many do not know. When we focus not only on the symptom, but also on the habits and biological mechanisms that make it worse, something surprising happens. The body begins to respond positively. Bathroom visits decrease, pressure is reduced, and with that, quality of life improves significantly. And this is what is really interesting, because many men believe that all these problems are solely due to age, as if it were something inevitable. The reality is very different. There is another system that operates silently behind the scenes, and a daily mistake is affecting it without you noticing. I am referring to the bladder emptying system, the complex interaction between your bladder and your prostate, and how the way you urinate directly influences both. In this article, you will discover what that mistake is, why it is so harmful, and you will receive 3 practical and easy tips that you can apply starting today to protect your prostate and improve your quality of life. Stay attentive, because this information has the potential to change the way you understand your body and your daily habits. Number 1. The silent mistake that is damaging your prostate. I have spoken with hundreds of men, workers, responsible fathers and grandfathers who look at me with frustration and confess, "I get up 5 times at night. I can barely start urinating." Or the urgency is so intense that I am afraid to leave the house. However, the root of their problem is not always in the prostate itself. It begins with a habit that has accumulated over decades: rushing when urinating. Most men rush. They approach the toilet and, in their desire to finish quickly and continue with what they were doing, they push or strain to force the flow, or they stop as soon as they feel the stream weaken. This action, which may seem harmless, generates unnecessary pressure on the bladder and prostate. It is like trying to squeeze a toothpaste tube with a clamp. The contents come out irregularly and with effort, and the added pressure ends up damaging the internal structure of the organ. Constant straining not only overloads the bladder, weakening it over time, but it also creates reverse pressure on the prostate. Imagine the prostate as a soft and flexible sponge. Each attempt to push the urine and leave residue in the bladder by not emptying it completely is like squeezing that sponge over and over again, day after day. Over time, this continuous tension causes inflammation and promotes the growth of the gland. In addition, the detrusor muscle of the bladder, responsible for contracting to expel urine, gradually becomes fatigued. As a result, the bladder can no longer empty completely. The urine that remains, known as bladder residue, becomes an ideal environment for bacteria, increasing the risk of urinary infections and worsening prostate symptoms. A cycle forms that feeds on itself. You push, the prostate becomes inflamed, the bladder weakens, it does not empty completely, and the problem intensifies. The solution, although simple, requires attention and patience. Simply do not push. Take your time, Allow the flow to start naturally, and most importantly, stay for a moment after you feel you have finished. Relax, lean slightly forward, and allow the bladder to release what is still left. This small adjustment can have a huge impact, and the best part is that it is immediate. You will notice that the stream flows more completely and the feeling of emptying is more satisfying. But it does not end there. The real transformation occurs when this change is combined with other complementary habits, because prostate health is not an isolated event, but a continuous process. Science has shown that there are 3 additional simple and practical practices that you can start today, which enhance the effects of this initial change. Number 2, the power of double urination. Many men do the right thing, but in the wrong way and feel that nothing works. I have observed this not only with diet or supplements, but even with the way they urinate. That is why I always emphasize that how you do something matters as much as what you do. In addition to not pushing, there is a technique that I have taught to hundreds of men with outstanding results: double urination or urination in 2 stages. The idea is simple but powerful. First, urinate calmly, without rushing and without pushing. When you feel that you have finished, instead of standing up immediately, remain in a relaxed posture for a few seconds. Lean gently forward, or if you are standing, slightly bend your torso. Wait between 10 and 20 seconds. With this simple gesture, you will often discover that the bladder has a second chance to empty. It is as if the detrusor muscle, upon relaxing, realizes that there is still a little work left to do. This second urination is often the key to reducing residual urine, decreasing the urgency to go to the bathroom immediately afterward, and relieving pressure on the prostate, also reducing the risk of infections. I remember one of my patients, an engineer of 68 named Robert, who confessed to me that this technique completely transformed his life. Before, he felt a constant urgency that interrupted his days and nights. After implementing double urination, both the urgency and nighttime trips to the bathroom decreased significantly. This is not magic, but neurobiology in action. You are teaching your bladder to function more efficiently and to communicate better with your brain. This brief moment of awareness is a powerful act of self-care that gives you back control over your body. And wait, because later I will explain how something as simple as your posture while sitting can completely change the situation and effectively protect your prostate. Number 3, the myth of urinating standing up. This topic often brings a smile to my patients, but the science behind it is solid and convincing. For many men, urinating standing up is a ritual, an essential part of their daily routine, associated with speed and convenience. However, for prostate health, urinating sitting down is almost always the better option. Do not get me wrong, urinating standing up is not a problem if you are a young and healthy man whose prostate has not yet begun to change with age. But as the prostate gland grows and the urethra changes its angle, urinating standing up can prevent the bladder from relaxing and emptying completely. This causes small amounts of urine to remain, increasing pressure on the prostate and creating a cycle of constant irritation. By sitting down, you relax the pelvic muscles, open the angle of the urethra, and allow the bladder to empty more efficiently. Various studies have shown that men with symptoms of benign prostatic hyperplasia who urinate sitting down have a shorter urination time, a higher maximum flow, and less residual urine compared to those who urinate standing up. This change, although it may feel unusual at first, is a powerful act of support for your prostate. It is not about masculinity or breaking traditions, but about pragmatism and health. One patient, an electrician named James, told me that it took him a week to get used to sitting to urinate, but now it is the only way he does it. He said, "I do not care what anyone says. My trips to the bathroom have been cut in half, and I no longer wake up at night. If this helps me, I will continue doing it without hesitation." That mindset, focused on health rather than habits, is what we need. Number 4, the power of anti-inflammatory foods for the prostate. We have talked about the technique of urinating and posture, but all these changes work better when we also support the prostate from the inside. As a specialist in urology, I have seen that chronic inflammation is a determining factor in many degenerative diseases, and benign prostatic hyperplasia is no exception. Just as constant straining generates mechanical stress, an inflammatory diet causes biological stress. That is why the fourth and final piece of advice is the most comprehensive and powerful. Support your prostate with foods that fight inflammation. Studies repeatedly show that diets rich in fruits and vegetables, full of antioxidants and essential vitamins, are associated with a lower incidence of prostate problems. Think, for example, of the lycopene in cooked tomatoes. This powerful antioxidant helps reduce inflammation and prostate size and protects cells from damage that could accelerate tissue degeneration. Zinc is another key element. The prostate contains the highest concentration of zinc in the human body, and this mineral is vital for its normal function. You can find it in pumpkin seeds, nuts, and beans. Without adequate zinc, the prostate loses the ability to regenerate and maintain its normal functions. Let us not forget omega-3 fatty acids, present in salmon, sardines, and walnuts, recognized for their potent anti-inflammatory effects and their ability to balance the immune response in the body. Incorporating these foods consistently can make a long-term difference. This is not about following a strict diet, but about making small, sustainable changes. Add an extra serving of vegetables to your meals, make nuts a daily snack, or enjoy a bowl of oatmeal with pumpkin seeds in the morning. These are simple actions, but when combined with the correct urination technique and proper posture, they create a virtuous circle of healing. When you nourish your body with what it needs, it can regenerate in ways you never imagined. Number 5, integrating the 4 pillars of prostate health. Now that you know the 4 pillars: 1, do not push; 2, double urination; 3, proper posture while urinating; and 4, an anti-inflammatory diet, it is time to integrate them into your daily life. Because in the end, this is not just about your prostate, it is about your life, your well-being, your legacy, and the man you can still become. If there is one thing I want you to remember, it is that your body is not lost. Even if you have ever felt powerless, frustrated, or embarrassed by prostate symptoms, there is still an opportunity for change. We talked about the most common silent mistake: pushing. I showed you how to correct it with patience and technique. I revealed the power of double urination to empty the bladder completely. I shared the truth about posture, explaining why sitting can be best for your prostate. And finally, I guided you on the importance of nourishing your body with anti-inflammatory foods, giving your prostate essential support to heal. I have dedicated my life to helping men recover their strength, their connection with themselves, and their sense of well-being. And I can tell you with complete certainty, it is never too late to start again. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to do everything at once. You just need to take a small step, make a small adjustment, and have the intention to believe that change is possible. Because it is. I have seen it. I have lived it with my patients. Now perhaps it is your turn. This goes beyond medical advice. It is a daily reminder that you are alive, capable, and still very much a man. The choice is in your hands. If this content inspired you or taught you something valuable, take a moment to like it, share it, and leave a comment. I read each one. Your voice helps this message reach more men who need it. And if you want to support us so we can continue creating honest, science-based content, consider making a small contribution. Every gesture counts and helps more men regain their health and quality of life.